All right, we are on the car ride. We are on our way to Washington, Louisiana. We're recording right now. We're on our way to Washington, Louisiana. I have a car full of people, some happy, some sad, some mean, some in between.
So we all happy.
Let me turn the camera around. We got Mary Jane right here. Say hey, mama.
Hey, y'all.
We got Mark in the back getting everybody wildlife and fishery stuff so that we can make sure we legal when we're going on these people's lands. We got Aunt Ophelia. Hi. We got Zion.
Zion, wave at the camera.
And we got Wayne all the way in the back.
You got it on your phone.
All right, so we are approximately 26 miles out. So we don't really have an agenda. We kind of just winging it. We did not eat. We're all hungry. But we're going to wing it till we get to Washington.
It's fine.
We are, again, going to give you guys a little backstory because this is the YouTube one. But my mother and her siblings grew up on a farm. It's questionable whether it was a plantation or not. My grandfather, Mary Jane said that it was a plantation. Well, you have to take that up with your niece because she says it's questionable. Your other niece. So it was the Thistlewake plantation. My grandfather was a sharecropper. And so if you know anything about the history of slavery in the U.S., when they did away with slavery, they say, hey, you guys are all free. Didn't give them any resources or any type of help in figuring out what that transition looked like. And then they started something called sharecropping, which was where they would go and former slaves or initially would go and work the land for a small fee. Usually that fee wasn't enough for them to take care of themselves, and they also lived on the land. So fast forward to my grandfather was a sharecropper. He was not a slave. He was a sharecropper, and so he worked the plantation land. They lived on the land. There was a big house. There was overseers, and my mother and her siblings all picked cotton. What else y'all did? What else did they harvest on the potatoes and
everything that you raise on the farm? We did. They plant the stuff, and they had to harvest.
Do y'all feel like the money that your dad made, was that enough for him to take care of y'all?
Well, he made it work. That's all I can tell you.
But y'all lived on the property, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it was a sharecropper. You keep some for yourself, and you give some to whoever the plantation owner is, or whoever the owner of the farm is.
Okay.
So you share whatever you harvest.
Let me tell you a little bit about that generational wealth. That family who owned that plantation, because it went through a few hands, but the family who owned the plantation at that time that my mom grew up there, that family still owns the land. They have 11,000 acres that they lease out to the wildlife and fisheries. They have gas on their land. They have land. They have family land where their family lives on that land. So it just goes to show you that had we been given the same opportunities that they had and had the ability to purchase land and didn't have so much resistance against us, that it could have changed the trajectory of my grandfather's descendants. It just goes to show you that generation, that wealth stayed within their family. Their family still occupies land all up and down that street, and they were even able to go out and have like a planting company and again lease 11,000 acres to Louisiana so that people can go and hunt and do whatever they would do on the property, but they're still making money off of land. Even though they purchased the land, it wasn't during slavery, but they still prospered off the backs of sharecroppers. So you take with that what you will, but we're going out there just to so I can show you guys where I come, not where I come from, but where my ancestors come from. And I can't even really say ancestors because it's really my mom and her siblings, but so yeah, come along with us. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye. it's hot. All right.
Yeah.
So this is my mom and her sister. They grew up in this area. We're in Washington, Louisiana. Someone was so kind as to let us, kind of pull in their property and see the bayou. So how do y'all feel being back here?
It's no big deal. Nothing.
Is it bringing back all the memories?
No, because you still remember it anyway. You don't forget that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we knew what we grew up with.
Was it tough growing up in those times?
Yes.
Or did you? I guess you didn't really have anything to compare it to at that time.
Because we didn't know about all this other stuff out there.
Yeah.
The way we're living now, we didn't know anything about that.
Okay.
We were happy living on the farm. We had food, and we had to have them brown and white shoes or black and white to go to school. Remember all of that. And I said I never wanted a pair after I got older, and I didn't get any either. But actually, when I was on the farm, I actually saved enough money to buy me some little flat shoes for when we go to go somewhere on a Sunday or whatever.
Okay.
I bought me some shoes for that.
So, Mama, you were never on this side of the road, huh?
We only walk. No, we just further down.
On the opposite side?
Yeah, on that other side. We used to live in a house way in that field back there. There was a pump on this side. And in the back of that field, in the back of the house, we had a garden, a truck patch. And we had to go feed up. But we worked the lane in the back, we worked the lane in the front. So, but we never worked on this side. That was for somebody else. We only work on this side of the lane. And we did everything. Corn, sweet potato, cotton. We did more cotton than sweet potato. And we had to harbor all that, bring it to the thing, save the seed for the next year, and sell the rest, whatever they wanted to do with the rest. But this was hard because we had to walk from our house in the corner to that road and catch the bus. And sometimes we would miss the bus. My grandmother would comb me my hair one day, and she said, "Oh, you got time?" I missed the bus. I didn't go to school. So it was okay, but and then wasn't okay. I mean, we survived. We lived, and we didn't want for nothing. So he did all he could for us. And that was it.
When we lived in Washington, our daddy was a sharecropper. They have a road going through that. Look at it. Where somebody drove down there. I guess they needed to do it because something must have happened. So we lived in that section over there. Are you pointing? Not all the way by the trees because my daddy had some crop planted behind the house. And all of the land in the front of the house, he planted stuff in the front of the house. We had to walk all the way up here to go to the mailbox and catch the bus. If we missed the bus, there's a road back there. That's going to take you to high school and the elementary school. We had to go all the way back there. And it was a long walk. Nobody walked. You had to run because if that bus made it to the end of that road going to Mamu and coming back, if he made it to that section before we got there, you got left behind. Mary said she just didn't go to school, but that didn't happen to me. We had to run down there and go catch that bus too. And my daddy we had to harvest the crop. You harvest the cotton, you harvest the potatoes. He planted red potatoes, white potatoes. He planted, what else he planted? He planted corn. So the corn you had to go in and harvest the corn. We didn't have machines back then. The machines didn't come out till later. And he had 11 children. We were out there, the ones that were old enough was out there doing what needed to be done. And then he would bring it to Washington, to the city, and go ahead and do whatever needs to be done. Like the cotton would go to the cotton gin. And I don't remember where he took the corn, but he took it to Washington. I don't know. So the wagon would be full, and he just go ahead and drive it down there. He didn't try to get a truck to pull it. He just used the horse, the mules, whatever, and drove it because it was okay. It was in the country, and that was a country town, you might as well say. And then I don't know when he decided, but then he decided we're moving. And we moved to Opelousas, Louisiana, on a farm owned by Miss Tesano, and she was black. She was the grandmother of my friend that was at the high school, and she actually graduated. I think you met her granddaughter. And I said, Lord, I didn't want to move because the school I was going to, I was doing really good in school. I had A's and B's, but then we moved, and of course that school started messing me up. But it was okay because God still got me where he wanted to get me. That didn't stop nothing. So anyway, so now I'm looking at this property now. You can't even tell exactly where the house used to be, but I know it was in that section. It was over in that section, but not that far back. Because as I say, he had crop behind, maybe corn or something behind, or maybe cotton. He had cotton in one section, corn in the front area on that section. And there was a pump to the left where those, I think is where those trees are. There used to be a pump there. I don't know if it's still there. And we had to walk there and pump the water in a tub and then bring it back to the house. Because that's the only way. My dad didn't try to get a barrel and get the water in. We had to go walk. Me and Jerry on one side, and she's shorter than me. I'm on the other side. And we got to carry the tub, a round tub, trying to carry our water back to the house because we had to get water to take a bath. We had to get water for Mama to cook, and we had to haul the water. And it was not that older siblings, they all could work in the field, and she didn't want to leave one of them home, except when Mary got sick. Oh, she had a sinus problem. We didn't know to call it that back then. Then she would tell me that Mary's gonna stay home, and she'll take care of you, and you coming in the field. What the devil? It was fine because I didn't like worms. Jerry would take worms and put it on my sack, and I did not like that. But anyway, that's the story of what used to happen. And now it's behind us. I don't have to look at a cotton field anymore, except to pass by and look, oh, a cotton field, praise God. I ain't got to work it no more. And that was a blessing.
So let me ask you this. How was it, let me get by the mic. Let me ask you this. How was it when you had to pick cotton? Not how was it, but did you have to have like a certain weight? Because even though sharecropping was different, or they said it was different from slavery, did you still have to meet a certain weight? So was there still that pressure of like making sure you met the quota as a young girl?
Well, no, because I was a child, so they wouldn't have asked me to do that anyway. So what happened? Well, my daddy, I don't think he started that on this farm. He started on the farm in Opelousas, where he started weighing the sacks because he felt when he took the cotton to the gin that they weren't being honest with him. So he said, Ophelia, I want you to start keeping up with, that's how I got good with math. Keeping up with the weight, with how many pounds. He would weigh the sacks and then empty it in the wagon. And then we go and pick some more until the wagon got full. And then when it's full, he would take it to the gym. And now they had to weigh it because to say how many pounds he had, but he didn't felt they were doing it correct. So he had me start when he would have a scale at the end of connected to the wagon, weighing it, and then I write it down. Each time he'd weigh a sack, write it down, and then I had to add it all up. So I got good in math, and I took that math test at Opelousas, and they say I placed third. So that's where the goodness came from, the math, from working, doing all that stuff by hand, because we ain't had no calculators back then.
Okay.
But praise God, God still got me where he wanted to get me. Them people couldn't stop me.
Whatever my mama sent me to the store to get.
And this was the corner store that my grandmother would send my her kids to get whatever they needed. This is a long way. That's a couple of miles.
5 or 6 miles. We had to walk, maybe longer. And they know if we stopped to talk to one person, they would know.
How they would know?
They would know because they time you. You walk that. They time you, and they ask, "Where you stop at?" Nowhere. And we were talking to the Celestine, and I can't remember the other family name, but there was some black people up in there. And if you do anything, everybody would tell on you what you was doing and everything. So we cut across the pasture to get home, and that's when that horse came and ran us up a tree.
Come on, put the shoe on.
That's my daddy and my mama. Great. I come to see her as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody keeping it up. I don't know. I think June come out there too sometime, but they painted.
Yep.
You know what? When her grave was over there, she was the only one right here and had no grave over there or this way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's it, baby. This is it.
Yes, ma'am. After my grandfather and grandmother left the Thistleweight land, they were the only sharecropper for this black woman. Her last name was Tisano. And so they moved from Washington to the outskirts of Opelousas in this area called, some people call it Gladney Isle, Gladney Island. Some people call it Gladney Isle, Gladney Island. But it was officially known as Gradneygo, okay? And it was an area where free black people had lots of land and lots of money. And so my grandfather sharecropped. He was the only sharecropper that worked her land for a black woman who owned this land.
It's okay. The day ended with rain. So we are pushing through, trying to get home. It is windy and raining. We are driving. It is windy out here. But at least the rain isn't as bad as it was before. Oh, not the box trying to come in the road. Okay, mister, come on the side of me.